Hello everybody, welcome to the video. Typically, when I make a video, it's a video game challenge playthrough. But somehow, my more popular videos are not video game related at all. My trailer video did better in a day than my more recent videos in the same amount of time. This video is also one of two videos to have a script. The other one is the school puppet show video, linked in the description below. Now, at least 37 people who are subscribed at the moment, 56 at the time I'm writing this, are friends from school. I even know who my 50th subscriber is. Because I can't say names on YouTube without probably getting sued, what's going to call her Marshmallow, she bragged about being my 50th subscriber for the rest of the school year. And by that, I mean 4 days. So I thought that since I'm leaving that school and going to high school after summer, that I should tell you some funny stories that happened in my 7th and 8th grade years, as well as some sister orchestra times and funny moments, because there are some conflicting things that I could also consider to be in the junior high stage of my life. In 6th grade, you get to pick an instrument to play, and you learn in the junior high school, and you audition for your instrument at the high school. And by audition, I mean you literally just ask the person who has all the forms for the drums, ask if you were picked to play the drums. If you were not picked, then you have to pick something else. But I was unaware that you learn at the junior high school, because the place you sign up looked like the orchestra/band performance stage. So I thought that we would learn there. This will make sense later. So to get to the orchestra, I needed to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and get on the bus at 6:40-ish, as the bus can be a little bit late sometimes. I woke up at 6:30 every day before joining orchestra, and the worst part is that Wednesday is unaffected by this. This absolutely ruined my sleep schedule. Completely demolished. I could not deal with this. I got on the bus, and a person I'm going to call Gold was going to the junior high, as well as he is a year older than me, and he saw everything that happened. When we arrived at the high school, because we had to drop off the high school, then the junior high, I got off thinking I'd go to the place I signed up at, and every junior higher saw me, a 6th grader, get off at the wrong place. Luckily, the bus driver told me that 6th graders in band and orchestra go to the junior high, and during the minute ride to the junior high, I was incredibly embarrassed. This was definitely a wake-up call for me to just listen to others. A month later, I made an enemy who I'm not going to even give her a nickname, as she might say that that name I used isn't a name for an African-American girl and say I'm racist and I can let that happen. Anyway, she accused me of stalking her. All I was doing was trying to keep my balance while walking on the ledge before orchestra was going to start. And I lost my balance and had to step off to not fall on her. And she was watching something on YouTube, I don't know what it was. She said that, and before I could explain, her friend, who for monetization purposes, she's a person at the time, people shipped her with me because we both had unibrows, pushed me away. I didn't care about her anyways. Bros before, I also can't say that phrase. In 7th grade, towards the start of the year, a girl I'll call Firo, the Pokemon Firo, started to talk with me, and a girl I'll call Peanut Butter. And out of my mouth I said, once I'm 6 foot tall, no girl would say no to go on at least one date with me. And Firo told me that she would get me a girlfriend by the end of the school year. She didn't do it. However, in quarter 3 of 8th grade, I got a girlfriend. Vero completely failed at her side of the deal. And I still got a girlfriend. That's the ridiculous part. I'm astounded that I was able to do it by myself. Like, why? Still on the topic of Vero, there was one time I looked like an idiot in front of peanut butter. Since I live in Groveland and I got to go to the 709 district, and they have something called Arts in the Park, where the orchestra, choir, and band classes all play/sing some music to show how they've improved in front of some wealthy judges to hopefully get them to invest in the programs, or at least that's what I've heard. I was looking for Vero and didn't know she wasn't in any of the music classes. I thought she was in choir, not in orchestra like Peanut Butter was thinking I was thinking. Either way, I was wrong. By the way, Vero wasn't the girlfriend that I got at any point. And now let's just talk about the last day of 7th grade, because honestly, it's kind of whack. Now, this thing could be like a thinking, but I don't care, because I have something to show in this next clip. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say with this. This is the only thing off script. During that you-know-what year, the school I was going to decided for one of the last days of school, they decided to let all of the 7th graders touch all the balls for dodgeball that will likely need to be cleaned after the next day that the 8th graders will play dodgeball. Looking back on it, it was a horrible idea, but at least my team dominated the other teams. After that, there was a small competition where you voted for people who were most likely to accomplish something. I won the most likely to become a professional gamer. I still have the reward, and I'll show it to you right now. You see? Most likely to become a professional gamer, awarded to R. Sam Clausen. The A is supposed to be lowercase, but proper capitalization. I'm blocking out this so you guys can't find the school I go to, even though I literally mentioned it, probably at some point during this video. So math is my favorite subject, and I could talk about some of the great things about math, but this is a YouTube video, so only fun moments for this entire video. On day 1, which is the first day of the entirety of my 8th grade year, a girl I'm gonna call Z asked if she could sit next to me. This wasn't her flirting with me. She wanted to sit relatively close to her friends. Now this looks like she would use the spot to her to work from where she was, but no. Whenever you could work with partners, Z would grab her work and her chair and walk over to work at the table with her friends sitting there and start working. She never worked with me if you had the option to work with a partner. Skipping ahead to Grandparents' Day, my math teacher said, "Just so you know, I'm not promoting gambling," because I said that he was going to promote gambling because we were learning about probability, and that's pretty much gambling. He even brought this up, even though he already said that he's not promoting gambling. Going back like January or so, a girl I'll call Lamp Girl, who is my friend now, but back then I didn't like her, and this is the reason. As well as she was friends with my enemy. So I associated Lamp Girl with the bad decisions of my enemy. Until I realized that the Lamp Girl was in an abusive friendship and an abusive family relationship. But back to January, she was being a distraction with my enemy, continuously talking to Lamp Girl, and when she told my enemy to stop. She didn't. And that point, they needed to be separated. The farthest spot away from my enemy was Z and my spot. The resource, aka the assistant teacher at that point, told me that Lamco needed to swap seats. I asked if Z could sit next to me because she wouldn't move farther away from her friends, and Z said yes. Now let's talk about the most stressful day back home. If you were one of the few who watched a video that will go unnamed, as I'm not going to dox my currently ex, who is the girlfriend I mentioned earlier. Yeah, she was my first girlfriend and could easily tell some of the dating stories, but I could make another video on dating stories and make more money in the future when I get 100,000 subscribers. So if you subscribe, then you can help me financially. Subscribing is free, and you can always unsubscribe if you change your mind later. Now, back to the story. I promised that at 50 subscribers, I would hug my at-the-time girlfriend. On camera. This was also during orchestra, which was towards the end of the day. Everybody was in on it, and I got like 10 subs right then and there. It was going to be okay until I realized that there was one single video that would make everybody unsub right there, and yeah. The video is a video where I talked about earlier, was my most recent short, and I then realized that I was doomed. I thought that I needed the app of YouTube to private the video, and I had no idea about the YouTube Studio browser, and that I could even private it that way. I was gonna get exposed and get humiliated for supposedly breaking up with my girlfriend, but in reality it wasn't even real, and a miscommunication. So I couldn't not stress out, but I was able to private and delete the video when I got home. So I have two stories that are during this summer, but they still go back to school stuff, and this one is one of them. Now, I was with my mom's family for Memorial Day, as her dad is a veteran and she hadn't seen her family in person since like spring break. Now, going off topic to explain the story more, I am a pretty good chess player if you move all the openings I don't know. But I blundered checkmate in one move. This happened during the trip to a mare and I will call Papa, which is the veteran from earlier, who I call Papa on a daily basis, so there was no problem with doxing him. So later I'll make a video on the difference between the parents of your mom and your dad, and what they should be called, based off of many families, but I gotta get back to chess. Papa wasn't an experienced chess player, unlike me, who is the 2021 to 2022 best chess player at my school. Oh yeah! Anyways, I was completely crushing my Papa until he tried to checkmate me using a rook and queen. However, he was in check and didn't even know, even though I said check. After moving his king, I blocked the checkmate. But like 13 moves later, my bishop took the rook I talked about earlier, and blundered the mate in one. The bishop I moved prevented a back rank mate, but the bishop couldn't move to prevent back rank mate. But I didn't see it until it was too late, and he found it. My aunt posted a picture of me and Papa after I lost, and the Facebook post was titled, U.S. Veteran and Beats School Champion of Chess at Chess, or something along those lines. Now, my school wanted to make the last 3 days of school full of fun. Wednesday was a movie and also a trip to Dairy Queen after lunch, which it rained on. And then we just carried on with the day anyway. The movie was bad, guys. Great movie, by the way. Thursday, we went to Elevate, where I twisted my foot on accident, and that was only half the day. When we got back to school, there was a place where you could play video games in the trailer. Switches, PS4s, and Xboxes. I had to eat lunch first, but once that was done, I pretty much didn't leave the video games. In which there was Minecraft, Mario Kart, I'm not sure what another game was, but I just played Batman, and then just another random character, and one with the random character and Batman at least once. And I had no idea what the controls were, because it was on a different thing other than the Switch, which I only know how to use a Switch. Anyway, Friday was the last day, and I was planning on making a video on it, but in reality, it would have been boring, as it would have just been sports. The staff played against the basketball and volleyball teams, and boom, end of the day. I got 4 more short stories to tell you, so don't leave just yet. So in 5 days, if I get enough comments on the video, that will be linked in the description. I think I'll put it in the iCards at this point as well. I will be answering any questions that are appropriate in my school famous suit coat live. But I need enough questions to even do the video. I wore the suit coat on Valentine's, for the memes. And that sentence was my excuse for wearing a suit coat. I also wore it on April 1st, Grandparents' Day, and the last day of school. Oh, and during my last orchestra concert. Now, to talk about Roman. My pretty much sub-mascot. Roman and I are frenemies, to say the least. One time in PE, we were playing kickball, and I was on first base, and Roman was kicking. I'll give you 3 seconds of what Roman did. He ran so fast that he pushed me so hard that I was flying into the wall and pretty much did a barrel roll and pretty much died inside. Now, I'm just going to go through a brief lightning round of my schedule that I had to deal with. Hour 1, encore class. Hour 2 is PE. Hour 3, ELA. Hour 4, math. Hour 5, history. Hour 6, study hall. Hour 6.5, lunch. Hour 7, science. And hour 8 is orchestra. End of the day. And on Thursdays, I do the chess club. If you don't know what an encore class is, I won't explain it, because that will take up time, and I gotta put this entire video together. So, no. Now, time for the last story, and this one is the only one that could possibly get me in trouble from. So, this is from the second summer story collection in this video. So, let's begin. My aunt wanted to see my old school, which is the 6th grade one, and since my mom works there now, she was able to do this. Now, for flashback stories, I was in 6th grade. There was something called swapping classes. In the morning, we went over to the other teacher's classroom, and then in the afternoon, after lunch, we went back and learned for the rest of the day in the main teacher's class. Now, my teacher was going to retire once the year was over. Now, many people won't forget a teacher who retired, and I will say the same, but it's mainly because of the online class started that year because of you-know-what. Once the year ended, the school did an outrageous change. The other teacher, well called the teacher who embarrasses students, was the other 6th grade teacher that we had to swap with, and I had to deal with the entire year. The school decided to swap the good retired teacher's room with the other teacher.
What?
So when my mom was showing my aunt around, I wrote the teacher a letter saying, "How dare you stand and teach what she stood and taught?" Quoting myself. I left it on her desk. Okay, that's all. So subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed.